Was every name in that book guilty? Where is the black book now?
When Epstein got taken down 4 years ago, the FBI opened his safe, and he had hundreds.
We're talking about some of the names in the black book, and there have been a lot of names that have been released by different sources. Maybe it all came from you originally, but was every name in that book guilty of partaking in sexual activities with minors?
No. There were a number of people in that book that were not. That book was just a book of all of Jeffrey Epstein's contacts, and stolen by the Alfredo Rodriguez, who was the house manager. But a lot of the people, that was Jeffrey Epstein's thing. His thing was making money and molesting children. So if you're in that black book, it's, and Jeffrey Epstein's relationships were all utilitarian. He wouldn't, if you couldn't help him make money or molest children, he wouldn't have anything to do with you. So a lot of people in that black book are there for making money, or they're prestigious.
Do you think there's anybody that has been painted in a negative light because their name was in that black book that possibly maybe shouldn't have been? It seems like anybody who's associated with this guy, I've seen pictures of celebrities and presidents and with him at parties, but and people get outraged, but when you go to parties, it's easy for anybody to just to snap a picture of you standing next to whoever. You might not even know who they are. And so I'm just curious if there's anybody in particular that you think that has been defamed because of their association with them, maybe not even realizing who he was.
When people ask me that question, I think of that Beatles line, "See how they run." Mm-hmm. According to everybody who's been interviewed in that book, no one had anything to do with Jeffrey Epstein.
Good point.
I met Jeffrey Epstein 6 years ago at such and such's party, and I don't know how I ended up in that black book. That's what everybody's going to say, or most people are going to say. Alan Dershowitz, who was quoted as having a friendship with Jeffrey Epstein and Vanity Fair article, I think from 2002. Oh, yeah, I barely knew. And he's on Jeffrey Epstein's flight manifests, and he just talks about how much he loves Jeffrey Epstein and how Jeffrey Epstein reads all his books. And, oh, yeah, I think I saw Jeffrey Epstein in 2015. These people are obviously lying. Mm-hmm. They want to do everything they can to distance themselves. And Jeffrey Epstein is the same as like Craig Spence in the Franklin scandal. Everybody who was anybody came to Craig Spence's parties. And Craig Spence is quoted as saying, well, how will they deny that they ever came to my party? And I'm sure that Epstein, I've heard that Epstein had said something like that. Well, how can they deny that, that I didn't, because I was with the elite of society.
So where is the black book now?
The FBI has it. The FBI did a sting. Alfredo Rodriguez, we talked about a little bit earlier, he wanted to sell the black book to one of the attorneys that was launching civil suits at Jeffrey Epstein that was representing some of the victims. And he called the attorney, and the attorney called the FBI, and the FBI did a sting. And so the FBI has the black book. I was fortunate enough to get a copy of it. And then that was the copy that I released in 2015.
So the FBI has the black book. They've done nothing with it.
Well, no one's done it. Here's Epstein's, when Epstein got taken down 4 years ago, the FBI opened his safe, and he had hundreds of DVDs. And I'm sure a bunch of them had to do with compromising. And then I think he was also into child pornography too. So we have no idea.
So they have all the DVDs.
They have all the DVDs.
They have the Black Book. They literally have
They have
everything.
everything.
Nothing is happening. What's your opinion of the FBI nowadays?
Well, I mean, it's in this case, it's obviously unbelievably corrupt. The FBI knew. Okay, so the FBI knew about Jeffrey Epstein in 1996. We know that for a fact. Maria Farmer, who was assaulted by Jeffrey Epstein, and her sister was assaulted by Jeffrey Epstein, went to the FBI in 1996 and told them about Jeffrey Epstein. Now, and it's amazing. Think if the FBI had acted on Maria Farmer's information. Think of all those girls that could have been saved. But
I don't even know why anybody who has, I can't even imagine applying for a position at the FBI nowadays. Well, I don't understand what they do, and I don't understand any red-blooded, whatever, anybody with an ounce of integrity in this country. I do not understand what the they are doing working for the FBI. I don't know what they do now.
And, you know,
except cover-ups. They do a lot of cover-ups.
I have met some decent FBI agents over the years. I mean, I have.
Who are they serving?
I don't know.
You know, that's what, like, you think you're doing something for the better, like, for the good of the country?
But we're talking, you know, we're talking the Department of Justice and the FBI together. I mean, so the FBI had hundreds of DVDs of Epstein. I'm sure a lot of them were compromised DVDs, and I'm sure a lot of them were just child pornography. So they've gone into a black hole.
I mean, it's, you know, we talked earlier, and it's these guys, oh, they're worried about their mortgage and their car payment and this and that. And it's like, sell your f***ing car, get a smaller house. What expense are you willing to cover these f***ers up for? You know, there's kids being raped.
It's
f*** your car. Get a new job.
But, you know, people do not think that way. They, like I said, they're afraid of losing what they have or not getting what they want. But now this is interesting. So when Epstein died, they said that the case was closed. So I did a Freedom of Information Act request. I didn't ask for the DVDs. I asked for reports on the DVDs. That was my FOIA request. And I eventually got an email back saying that the case was ongoing. So I don't know if those reports on those DVDs will ever come out. It would be great. I mean, then we'd be able to get a lot of answers. It's up to our government. Our government needs to get honest about this. And until it does, I mean, we're going to be governed by the cesspool that we're currently being governed by. People that aren't concerned about doing the right thing. They're concerned about their money and prestige. And you see this, I mean, it's a historical trend. I mean, like the Catholic Church, Penn State, you know, Boy Scouts, money, property, and prestige. They will not, all those kids that were molested, all those kids, molestations that got covered up, they were all covered up so those organizations could perpetuate their money, their power, and their prestige. And individuals are the same way.
Hey everybody, I'm Shawn Ryan. Click here to subscribe to the Shawn Ryan Show YouTube channel for the hottest and most compelling interviews that you will not see anywhere else. I've also made a playlist of all the previous SRS episodes so they're easy to find. You can find that right here.